Ready to dominate your industry with strategy that actually scales? At Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm, we're not just PR experts, we're licensed sports agents certified in AI and elite business consultants with over 2 decades of experience leading global projects across multiple countries. Visit cprfirm.com, that's colemanprfirm.com, and millionairex.ai. Then download the Millionaire X app, your AI-powered guide to getting out of debt, investing smarter, and building generational wealth. Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm. It's a family business. It's different.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Let's stop acting like we don't see how this game is played. If you tired of folks throwing shade with a smile and keeping you boxed in with that slick behind-the-scenes racism, it's time to upgrade your survival skills. See, Phillip Scott dropped more than just knowledge. He handed you a playbook with passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy. This ain't the in-your-face kind. This is that sneaky, office space, let me block your blessings type of racism that'll have you questioning your own reality. It's time to call it what it is and arm yourself with the facts. But baby, don't stop at just peeping the system. Break those mental chains too. That's why you need 7 steps to decolonize the mind. This is about freeing yourself up top, walking in confidence, and letting the world know your mind is not for rent, lease, or layaway. It's time to reclaim your power step by step. So don't just watch, take action. Click over to Amazon.com, type in passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy and 7 steps to decolonize the mind, and secure both books for yourself, your crew, and anybody ready for that mental liberation. La Sherika said it, now go do it. Invest in your freedom. Pick up both books today on Amazon.com. Trust me, your mind will thank you.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, How Anti-Black Racism Was Programmed, Marketed, and Made to Survive. This isn't another book about what racism looks like. This is the blueprint of how it was built, who profits from it, and most importantly, how to dismantle it. I spent years connecting dots that they never wanted connected, following money trails that they thought were buried, exposing the machine that runs on our oppression. Knowledge is power, but strategic knowledge is liberation. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system.
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke. We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff, no filters, just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure to click the subscribe button. Make sure to click the like button. It's very, very important. We're going to talk about tonight this so-called affordability crisis. You know, they talking about the affordability of homes, rent, health care. And if you are a black person in America, whether you are from, definitely a descendant of slave, or maybe you immigrated here, you're a black person and went through the different things you've been through, you probably can have maybe some of the same story about affordability for decades. But all of a sudden it's a crisis when one group of people are affected. And it's always been that way. And we're going to talk about this. And should we even care about affordability at this point? Because if affordability was so much of a problem, wouldn't they have addressed it back in the 80s, 90s, right? But thank y'all for joining us tonight. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Where's all my brothers and sisters that's, let's say even if you're 35 and up. Where's my 35 and up brothers and sisters in here tonight? Let me talk to y'all, especially if you're 40 and up. Let me talk to you, definitely. Boy, I tell you what. I remember from the time I was a child to about the age of 35, I was just my normal self. And at the age of 35, that's when things started changing for me. Boy, I tell you. God, them changes, I tell you, and then when you get to 40, and then you notice when you get to just each year after that, you start noticing little things here and there or whatever. But so I wasn't feeling well last week. So, I mean, I was achy. I was all of that. So normally I get up Monday through Friday about 4:30 in the morning, go to the gym, hit the weights, hit the treadmill, do things like that. That's just my normal routine. And so I wasn't in the gym for 1 week, and I could tell the difference in 1 week if I haven't been in the gym. And it's like I stay in the gym so I make sure that I don't get over 300 pounds like I was at one point in time. I was at over 300 pounds at one point in time. I can look at the videos and see when I was, right? I'm like, oh my God, right? But it's like I have to stay in the gym. Now, I don't know if any of y'all can relate to that, but it's like you have to stay in the gym. I have to stay lifting weights, because if I don't, oh man, it's so annoying. Isn't it annoying? It's just annoying. I remember them days back in the Gap where I used to eat bread. I don't even eat bread no more. I can eat bread all day. I can eat whatever I want. Then go to the gym, lift some weights, whatever. Do something, right? I mean, you could drop 10, 20 pounds like this. Man, it is annoying. It is so annoying. God, it's annoying. Like I said, I don't know if y'all can relate to that. God, but it is so annoying. Oh man, I miss them days where I used to just eat whatever I want and didn't gain a pound, or I didn't have to stay in the gym as much like I have to do now. Oh man. Marcus, you say you've been watching those videos? Yeah, we're gonna get into that tonight, Marcus. Also another thing. Let me see if I can get into this too. We just talking, right? One thing I don't like is somebody BSing me. God, I don't like somebody BSing me. You don't have to BS me or nobody. If it's something you don't want to do, just say you don't want to do it. Don't BS people, right? Don't BS people. Don't waste their time. Just say you don't. Listen, it's better just to be honest and just say what you don't want to do than BS people. Man, that's another thing I don't like. I think as I've gotten older, I really don't like somebody wasting my time, because I have so much going on, right? And, I get my moments where I'm like, you know what, forget it. And I'll make a drastic step. Now, I got people around me to hold me back from them drastic steps, because I like, you know what, forget it, and just do something not drastic with nothing crazy. No, nothing crazy. But I'll just make certain moves. And so I'm glad that people around me like, oh, hold on, brother. Hold on. Just think about that move you about to make for a minute, right? Because I just, when you're a person like myself, you want to see things move a certain way. And if it don't go a certain way, you're just like, you know what? I'm going to make that thing happen. And I'll clear the board if I got to, right? So, oh, man, some of y'all probably can understand that in business sometime. You say you stay in shape, Bud Crawford? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Boxing is good. Hitting the heavy bag. That's always good. Like, especially our brothers, man. Our brothers, we got to definitely, keep in shape much as possible. Go to our doctor, because a lot of brothers, don't like to see the doctor. So yeah, we definitely got to do that. Get our checkups. Certain things we can't eat no more at certain ages. We just can't. Like, certain foods make me sick. Like, I think probably what made me sick when I did the research years ago about pork, because the Muslims always talked about pork, but black folks always ate pork. I grew up eating pork, and boy, when I did the research on that pork, it's like, and I got sick to my stomach just for doing the research. Man, I can't eat pork to this day. I can't do it, and it's like, if something has pork in it, it literally will make me sick to my stomach. I cannot do nothing with pork. I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. But with that said, like I said, you say your working schedule hasn't allowed you to work out. Well, try to figure it out, brother. Try to figure it out. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I just want to talk to y'all a little bit, just talking to y'all. All right, so let's go ahead and get started about this affordability crisis. Now, growing up as a Black American, FBA, we always deal with affordability. I didn't grow up with no money like that. We grew up in Port Arthur, Texas. Shout out to my brothers and sisters in Port Arthur, Texas, and Black community, and nobody was rich in that community at all. We ate a lot of beans and rice, and meat, and vegetables and stuff like that, but beans and rice was always on the menu. But if you had a family that come from Louisiana, beans and rice is always on the menu, and you love it. You love it. You love it to death, right? But nobody was rich in my family at all. Everybody was working class people, and kept God in their life, and so affordability, we had to make do what we had. We didn't have no platinum health insurance card. We didn't have no American Express black card, platinum card. We didn't have any of that stuff. But we made do with what we had. All we had was cash money, and that's that. No, we was not on food stamps like that. Now, people back in the day would pay you in food stamps to take them somewhere, or you do something for somebody, I pay you in food stamps. They ain't got no cash, but I pay you in food stamps. So that'd be the only way that we would get food stamps. So back in the Gap, you say, well, look, can you take me somewhere? I pay you $5 in food stamps. Well, back in the day when they had the book of food stamps, you can do that, right? Give somebody $5 food stamps. $5 would get you a couple of things at the grocery store back in the day with the food stamp coupon. You know what I'm saying? Not the cards or whatever. So Black people always figure out a way to make do. There was affordability crisis for Black people in the 1980s. I know, I grew up as a kid in the 1980s. Okay. There was affordability crisis in the 1990s. And most Black Americans, if you wasn't well-to-do, you dealt with the affordability crisis in the 90s. Okay. You go into the 2000s. Black Americans was talking about affordability crisis. They were talking about rent. They were talking about groceries. It was talking about whatever. And when we talked about these things back in the day, what did white America, what did they always say to Black people when we would talk about the affordability crisis? They would call us lazy, even though we are working. Sometimes we are working 2 jobs. They would tell us, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Didn't they would say that, brothers and sisters? Pull up, oh, Lord, you say you got your prostate check? Oh, yeah, that exam. Yeah, that's not a fun exam, isn't it? But you got to get it done. But they say pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay? They say we're making excuses, right? Didn't they say we making excuses about things? And we just need to try to go to school and get a good job with some good benefits so we could do this and that and the third, right? They always had an answer
to Black Americans about affordability in this country. But now we fast forward to 2025. Let's go back to when the calamity started. And I'm going to keep preaching this sermon. The calamity started for you, white America, 2019. That's what's the clock that started the calamity. Okay? At the dispensation of time of 2019 culminated something. And now, after 2019, every year after that has been nothing but utter calamity. You got Trump out at that time, got Joe Biden, and the calamity did not stop. Now you got Trump, and the calamity has accelerated once again. Okay? And you can get rid of Trump in 4 years, 3 more years. You can get whatever Democrat you want. The calamity is still not stopping. It's not stopping for a reason. Okay? I'm not going to go fully into the reason, but it's not going to stop. Okay? Now, let's look at some headlines because, so you won't say I'm just making it up. Hold on, let me start. I'm gonna start on many different sections here. I just want to look at some headlines. Now, I'm not going to play the video, but I just want to just get you on here. Hold on, where we at? Your boy Morning Joe right here. He's up here talking about we inherited affordability crisis. Treasury Secretary, Trump was saying that. So all on Morning Joe, they're talking about the affordability crisis. Okay, fine. Well, the affordability crisis has been going on, as I said, since I was a child. But now it's a problem only in 2025. Okay. We go in the solve the affordability crisis. Look at this mess. This headline right here. A 50-year mortgage plan. So Trump say, well, people can't afford those 30-year mortgages. The majority of black people aren't homeowners. They're renters. So we've been had a mortgage crisis in the black community, right? But because them folks cannot afford a mortgage no more, because the average homeowner now is 40 plus. It's not young no more. It's 40 plus. Now we got a mortgage crisis because only people 40 and up is becoming first-time home buyers. So now all of a sudden we can't afford nothing no more, right? But when black folk were saying, hey, we can't afford a home, it was no issue about a mortgage crisis, right? All this time, all those years, at least that I can know, from the 80s all the way up to now, we told white America about these issues, and you did not care. One thing I can tell you about a white America, and just in general, from the top all the way down, what I have learned is that y'all are the most selfish group of people I've ever seen in my life. You don't care about your fellow man or woman or child in this country as long as you good. When black folk was talking about affordability, even before I was born, they were talking about affordability. You didn't care because you had yours. You don't care right now if your affordability would be great and the rest of us was starving to the point that we was dying, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care if there was an eviction crisis. As long as you was in your house, you would be good with millions of black folks and everybody else on the street as long as you have a house. You wouldn't care if everybody in this country didn't have health care, but you had it. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't care at all as long as you got yours. See, the thing is, one thing I learned a long time ago is that selfishness is not of God. Selfishness is one of the root causes of sin and unrighteousness. Some of you claim that you go to church, but didn't the scriptures teach do unto others that you have them do unto you? So if you want health care, shouldn't you want everybody else to have it? If you want to have a home and a job and groceries be down and all that, should you want that for everybody else? But clearly you have shown a pattern that you don't care about nobody else but yourself. And see, what happened is this. You set this whole thing up all these years if you'd addressed that back when black folks told you it was an affordability crisis with health care, rent, mortgages, all of that, you wouldn't be experiencing this today. See, a lot of this stuff that you're dealing with, white America, is that it was preventable. It was preventable. But because some of, I'm going to say a good portion, thought that it was your birthright to have it all and black folks to have nothing, you forgot that we live in the same country, right? Whatever happens to us is going to eventually happen to you. I've told you, and I've preached a sermon many, many times on this platform, that they perfect oppression on us and then they bring it to you perfected. They give the bad food to us and perfect it over here, and then they bring you the bad food later perfected. They gentrify us. Now they're gentrifying you out of your neighborhoods and your land with the AI data centers. How did they perfect gentrification? They did it to us first, but you didn't say nothing about it because you didn't care because it didn't affect you. They're messing up your water just as much as they messed up our water with the AI data centers, right? They're messing up your environment just as much as they messed up ours, putting refineries and everything else in our area. But now they're doing it to you because you got all this land around you. And they need that for the AI data centers. And now you're complaining about that. But when black folks told you about Cancer Alley in Louisiana, none of you said, hey, wait a minute, hold on. These people can't be living around, they getting cancer, they can't be living around here. All this soil got too many chemicals in it. Black people can't be living right here. No. These people, these refineries go have to either buy these people out of their property or some of them have to go to jail for emissions. Nobody said anything because it was black people. And now you're starting to see some of the same effects slowly starting to happen to white Americans. But when you don't care when it happens to the least of these, then why would somebody care when it happens to you? You understand? This is why when things happen to you, people don't feel sympathy when you complain. The only reason a pandemic was a pandemic because it was affecting you. If that pandemic would have affected just us and every other group outside of you and you were good, knowing your history, you would have racialized it, which you did racialize it as well. You'll racialize it and then try to do something against everybody else. But because it affected you, we got to hurry up and get some medicine for it. We got to throw $4 trillion in the economy because it was affecting you. And in some ways, affecting you a lot more, so much so that they stopped counting the death counts. They stopped counting it. That's how many people was passing off, and a lot of it was in y'all community. It was some black folks, too, in other groups. That's the only time it's a crisis when it happens to you. Because they don't care when nothing happens to us in black America. I just want to be clear on that. And am I lying, y'all? If I'm lying, just tell me, correct me, and tell me where I'm lying at, and then I'll make sure to correct myself. Okay? Now the lion and the ox says Dems want renters and for people to need rent control. Dems, Republicans, it don't matter. They own team white supremacy, okay? They don't care. All right. So let's get to the next thing I want to kind of just put up on the screen. Another one here. The top 3 reasons housing has become so unaffordable in the U.S. market is not what you think. All right. So they say brick by brick, regulation by regulation, America built its own housing crisis. Experts say the problem is cemented into the foundation of the U.S. housing system, a design flaw decades in the making. And say they point to 3 major forces doing the most damage: restrictive zoning, land use barriers, and financial policies that have choked supply and pushed prices out of reach. Y'all lying. Let me tell you why you're lying. I'm going to tell you, some of that could be true, but I'm going to tell you let private equity buy single family homes. That's why you have a problem. You let BlackRock, you know who BlackRock is, a major private equity firm buy out neighborhoods of single family households, and they turn all those homes into rent homes. Companies like BlackRock should not be able to buy single family homes at all. They can do all the commercial real estate they want. Excuse me. But when the government, when y'all sitting up here allowing BlackRock and many companies like this to buy up brand new homes and turn them to rent, listen, I saw this one neighborhood got built up, and I need to find out who owns it. The whole neighborhood is rent homes. I watched them build it from scratch. It's a whole freaking neighborhood, nothing but rent homes. I say, wouldn't they start doing that? Because my whole life, if I seen the neighborhood was built, it was for sale signs. Now they building neighborhoods just for rent homes. Kind of like that statement, you will own nothing and be happy, that sort of thing. So now Americans don't even have the homes to buy because all these private equity firms is holding on to all the homes. And the government is not forcing them to say, hey, you got to give up all them homes. You got to sell them off. And because we have a crisis in this country, people need to have homes. They're not forcing them to do it because this system that you have here is ran by a oligarchy, and the oligarchy here controls Democrats and Republicans. It don't matter what party. If they're taking donations, then they're being ran. And the worst thing they ever did was the Citizens United decision in the Supreme Court when they said corporations are people too. That right there spiraled everything down worse than what it already was when they start saying corporations are people too, and corporations can give to political candidates. This is why that they don't do nothing for you, is because why should they when Walmart can give billions of dollars to them if they want to, hundreds of millions of dollars to them? Or lobbyists. Lobbyists in this country is not looked at as bribing. In most countries, that would be considered corruption. Lobbyists are legally corrupt. It should be against the law to have lobbyists. The lobbyists are doing all kind of backroom deals, giving them money, access to this, access to that. It's a lot of corruption going on up there. And notice nobody's talking about doing a forensic audit of these senators and Congress people. It's saying, how do you get a job making what you're making in Congress, but in 5 years you became you multi-millionaire? How'd that happen? How'd that happen? Like, did you hit the lotto? Everybody hitting the lotto around here? Why are y'all rich? There's no job in this country, no job I've ever worked, where I started my job and then in 5 years I'm multi-millionaire. How did that happen? Nobody investigates that? Supreme Court justices, everybody get a bag. And nobody's getting paid millions of dollars in their position. It's all corrupt. And that's why I can't stand when they be trying to talk about other countries or Africans are corrupt. Man, y'all way more corrupt than Africans. At least African politicians are pretty upfront about their corruption. Y'all just mask your corruption, call it lobbyists. You mask your corruption and call it super PACs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all mask your corruption. All that mess Nancy Pelosi did for years. Martha Stewart went to jail for insider trading. How come Nancy Pelosi never went to jail? I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. Well, let's get back to this stuff here. These people wonder why this country's in debt and why this country is falling apart. It's because of them. It's because of them. They are destroying America. It don't matter if they Democrat or Republican. It don't matter. It's them folks. I don't care about their political party because they the one in charge. Is the black man in charge of America? Is the black woman in charge of America? Hell no. So you can't say the black man and woman is destroying anything. They are destroying America. The black man and woman built America. The black man and woman has maintained America. The black man and woman even been the moral compass of America. We've done everything we could to try to maintain this place. And every time we turn our back and back off from them, let them to their own vices, they destroy everything. But that's how they were in Europe. They were destroying Europe too. We've been the best blessing to them. Let's get back on the screen up here. Excuse me. Now let's say there are just many ways to halt and stop development.
I think
let's say a professor of real estate and finance at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania.
One, the demographics of
Hold on, I don't know which one is
public.
playing. I'm not trying to hear you. Okay. So they say the resistance to new construction, that's where it says why restrictive zoning and regulatory barriers tops the list of forces driving American housing crisis. Now, they talk regulatory burdens really do add up to the unaffordability index. It's we estimate 24% of the cost of a single-family home is embedded in regulations at all three levels of local, state, and federal government. And so it comes, out to roughly $94,000 in regulatory costs. Let me tell you about that. Let's talk about that. If your Congress, remember, federal law supersedes state law and local. Your federal government can pass a law that gets rid of every regulation to prevent building homes. Your federal government can make tax incentives for these builders to build. The federal government owns so much land in this country. They can build so many single family homes in this country for people. Okay? The federal government has the power to do a whole lot. Don't think they don't have the power to do a whole lot. They really do. They don't want to. They don't want to. America has a lot of, listen, the state of Texas, let me not even talk about America. The state of Texas has so much land that nobody's on. You could build so much right here in the state of Texas. Single family homes. But you're not doing it. So it's not that we don't have the land to do it. We got plenty of land all over this country. You got land in California. You got land all over the place. They have the land. They have it. They just don't want to. They just don't want to. And then if the Chinese came here and started doing it, then they'll try to block them from doing it. Not to say the Chinese be doing it for our sake, but I'm just saying. These people, in the end, they claim they know how to run a country, but really they don't. Because you don't want people not having a place to stay. That's not a good look. This country can be 5 times more wealthy if we just get everybody in a home, everybody to work, everybody living a good life. People, listen, one thing about Americans, if we living good, we going to spend money, okay? That benefits the banks. That benefits the corporations. You don't do good when people don't do good, what do? They hold their money. They don't spend. Like right now, a lot of people trying to hold their money. But then they weren't. Now, let me get to another thing here I want to cover here. Hold on. Now, another site, the Wall Street Journal, talking about it, the Fed and the affordability crisis. Rate cuts are too small, and the central bank is making things worse by shrinking its balance sheet. Okay? So everybody's talking about affordability. Why? Because them folks can't afford anything. That's why. It's not because it's an everybody thing. It's because of them. So I want to ask y'all, you tell me. Okay? You say Iowa is wide open. And yeah, if you want to be up there in Iowa with them folks, yeah. I think that's a good place for the folks is Iowa. I mean, I support them in Iowa. They want to be in Maine, Wyoming, all those places. Go ahead. Now, I just don't believe that's the place for us. There's plenty of land down south. It's a lot. Like I said, I mentioned Texas. There's land in Louisiana. There's land in Georgia. It's land in all the places that black folks live. I'm not a big proponent of us up there. If you want to go up there, it's your business. I know Montana got a lot of land. All those places got land. I get it. But we just not built for the cold like that, just for the most part. I'm just saying most of us not. Yeah. Yeah. So Marcus say, look at the shutdown. 40 days and food lines going for blocks. Just in 40 days. Say, imagine 6 months. And look, check this out. So the Senate say, okay, we vote. We want to get the government back open. Well, here's the issue. The airlines are messed off. A lot of Congress can't even get back to D.C. They got to do it the old-fashioned way, the long way. A lot of them can't fly back. Mike Johnson sent them all home. So they having a hard time getting back to D.C. Then Mike Johnson say, I'm not taking up nothing about no Affordable Care Act. So I don't know what y'all was even talking about. I'm not even voting on that. So all that mess they were doing in the Senate, and then they were saying that even if Trump signed the paper today, the airlines is still not going to go back to normal for a little bit. That's how much chaos that these people are under. And they try to say, well, it's Trump, it's Trump. No, it's them. It's them in general. And think about this. If they really, excuse me, if they really was thinking about it, why is Mike Johnson doing all what he's doing? To stop the release of the Epstein files. Now, some of them talk about it, but wouldn't you have an outrage that Mike Johnson and other people are protecting people who did horrible acts to children? Wouldn't you have more of an outrage about him doing that? And you know that's why he's doing that? Because they're trying to stop the release of the Epstein files. Most people would say, if you have nothing in there about you, well, shoot, let it go out. Or maybe not you in there, but people in your party's in there. Well, people say, allegedly, they say something about Trump or whatever the case. Well, if he in there, put it out. These people, ladies and gentlemen, what you're watching, you're literally watching them implode on themselves right now. They're imploding. And I thank God they can't point blame at Black America. I'm so glad, because they'll love to blame us. And we don't have nothing to do with it, baby. We have nothing to do with it. They are all doing this themselves. Because every time they got something going on, they love to point at us. I'm so glad we backed off and say, hey, yeah, y'all got it. They out in the street trying to protest, can't even do that right. They say, man, hey, you know, they do it so bad, they're looking around to me, where the black people at? Like, my Lord, you can't even protest right. You can't run the country right. You can't protest right. You can't run the country right. Black folks got to do. I tell you, boy, that's a interesting thing. That black folk back off and just chill our nerves somewhere and just say, hey, you got it, and they just losing their mind. It lets you know how important Black America is, huh? And then let me tell the immigrants something too. Let me circle back to the immigrants. You seeing what's going on with Black America back off too, right? You seeing what's happening, and don't think I haven't paid attention. So some of you that you know, with Black America kind of say, okay, we're going to prioritize our lineage and everything. I'm literally watching some of you are just trying to do everything you can to attach yourself and trying to figure out a way into our lineage. And I'm like, what is going on with that? That's something else I got a question about on top of the folks. What's up with that? Prior to all of that, we were told, excuse me, we don't have no culture. We don't know who we are, and all this other stuff that was being told us at one point in time. And now, people trying to attach themselves to us any kind of way they can. What's up with that? When Black Americans just kind of say, "Hey, man, everybody, you got it," like we just watching from the sideline. Latinos, everybody trying to figure out like how can they get us to do something, or how you can attach yourself to Black America. What's that about? And nothing I'm saying is a problem. I'm just asking the question. Yeah. Marcus is right. Everybody in this country want to hide behind us. They want us on the forefront. They want to blame us when things go wrong. Everybody want, man, I don't know what's going on with me. Everybody want to attach themselves to us. What's going on with that? I'm trying to figure that part out. The delineation movement got everybody freaking out. Even the folks are freaking out about delineation. I did a video on Emancipation Media. It's going to be coming up in a few days where them folks are freaking out about the Winsome Sears thing. And some of them still think that, well, just a person's look black, everybody black going to support them. I'm like, delineation movement has happened. You can't see. Let me tell the folks something. That game you were doing, that's done. Black America ended that. See, you can't use Candace Owens anymore, okay? Or anybody like her anymore. It don't work. We've delineated. That's what it is. So this is why people like white nationalist Nick Fuentes even admit that we can't use them anymore. We don't need to use them anymore. We can't be hiding behind them anymore. Why? Because of the delineation movement. They can't speak for you no more and say, well, he's black. No, he's not. And the reason why we say no, he's not is because prior to the delineation movement, come on, we have to admit, a lot of people were saying they wasn't black. They was something else. Now, because of delineation, everybody want to be black now. What's up with that? And I'm not talking about all, because not all said it, but those who were doing it, man, you know, I'm hearing people, commentators, who have lineages that's not Black American talking about we did this and us, and I'm like, huh? When y'all start doing that? Like everybody want to attach themselves to Black America, like attaching themselves to our history. You like, bro, like your mama wasn't even here. Your mama immigrated later. What are you talking about we and us for? You know why? Because with delineation, people can't be sliding underneath them Black American set-asides like they used to. Because Black Americans are calling that out. So see, Black Americans are kind of just say, yeah, everybody, you got it. You got it. Handle it like you want to handle it. You didn't want to be unified with us. Then let me tell you something else I've been hearing. Shaming tactics. Well, y'all being divisive, y'all doing this and that and the third. We need to unify. Okay, cool. Here's my problem. On the continent. Why isn't we seeing the unity? You have 54 countries. Forget the Middle East, forget the Arab ones. Forget them. We talking about the black nations. Why aren't we seeing unification there? It'll make no sense with all them black nations, them people dying like they dying in the Sudan. That don't make no sense why people in the Congo are suffering with all them black nations are there. That don't make no sense. All this, I've been doing a lot of research with Boko Haram and what they've been doing in Nigeria. I say, you know what? I took my time. So I'm going to really get deep into it and was researching. There's no way that Boko Haram should be killing Muslims and Christians, because they're killing actually more Muslims than Christians, but they're killing Muslims and Christians. They're doing whatever the hell they want to do in Nigeria. And you have all these black nations. Now, Trump talking about he want to do something about it, but Trump got ulterior motives. But it should not be that Trump should be talking about anything. You have all those black nations. A lot of these nations have militaries. And everybody should, you got an African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And nobody does nothing to help out the unification, to help out those brothers and sisters in the African continent. But then you come over here and say, well, we need to unify when you're not unifying over there. There's no way. I saw a video that I was just shocked. Sudan. And hello, Myron Gaines. Let me talk about Myron Gaines for a minute. Yeah, I'm calling his name. Myron Gaines, you another one. Don't you dare speak on Black America, Myron Gaines. You got a show, and I never hear you advocate for Sudan. You don't bring up nothing about your homeland. I'm sitting there on X. There was a RSF, one of them savages, lined up. Looked like about 12 Sudanese men. Made them all sit down on the ground. Okay, all side by side to each other. And then this other savage had an AK and a couple other ones, and they mowed them all down. And they up there celebrating and all this other, and I'm like, and I'm looking at this video on X, and I'm like, this is Myron's people. Myron sitting up here making comments about Black American women. Black American women not doing that. Black American, listen, our quote unquote thugs aren't doing that. The worst of the worst thug in our community aren't doing that kind of crap. In Sudan, they out here, the women, my God, what they doing to the women? And Myron Gaines got the nerve to run around talking about Black Americans? Man, y'all should really look at what's going on in Sudan. Myron Gaines can't say a word about our worst brother or sister in Black America is nowhere near what's happening in his homeland. So I don't want to hear all that about, oh, Black Americans, this or that, bro. Man, our worst thugs aren't we aren't. You show me the Crips or the Bloods or the GDs kidnapping schoolgirls. They ain't doing that. Burning down people's churches and they not doing that. I'm talking about Boko Haram and all them in Nigeria. They not doing that. So I'm just saying, I don't want to hear nobody talking crap about Black America when certain things are going on in your homeland. And then once again, shame on them African countries over there for not unifying and say, hey, we going to put a stop to the killing in Sudan. White people shouldn't have to come over here and do nothing. We going to put a stop to it. We going to get together because this is wrong. This is fellow Africans. And this is embarrassing for the continent. We all gonna get our nations together. It's more of us than them. And we gonna go put a stop to this right now as a continent. That's a shame. In 2025, women and children and innocent men are dying in the African continent, and y'all African nations not doing a freaking thing about it. And y'all see it happening. You see it. The white man shouldn't have to even talk about going over there and doing nothing for you. And that's just real. You can get mad all you want. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you this out of love. I ain't tell you out of no hate. Nobody else gonna tell you that. Your African media is not gonna tell you what I'm telling you. They don't make no sense. That all y'all got militaries and y'all can't put together a coalition of countries to go get Boko Haram. Y'all can't put a coalition of countries together to go in that mess in Sudan. It's way more y'all on the continent than them. You can't go figure out where they're getting the weapons from. Come on now. A lot of y'all cool with China. China could help y'all with some weapons and technology to help. A lot of y'all cool with China. China got a lot of advanced stuff over there. You mean tell me you can't get with them and say, hey, man, we need to put a stop to this. We need to buy some weapons and stuff from y'all. So what's up? Come on now. Oh my, okay, all right. Let's read this person says. I guess I don't know who you are. You says I'm narrow. So okay. How am I narrow advocating for the innocent lives of Sudanese Africans in Nigeria, wanting them to live and be prosperous and have a good life and not suffer death and destruction? How is that being narrow? Or am I being narrow by saying that African nations need to join together and stop the killing? That's being narrow. How's that being narrow? Oh, I don't supposed to say nothing about it at all. I'm supposed to just turn a blind eye to the killing of innocent Nigerians and Sudanese people and innocent children and women in the Congo. I don't supposed to say a word about it. It should just keep happening, right? That's your problem. You don't care about other Africans. You're selfish. Your leaders are selfish, and that's why they do what they do, because nobody want to fight. Look, Abraham Traore himself trying to keep the folks off his back. Nobody trying to support him. A lot of your leaders hate him because he's trying to not deal with them folks and be self-sufficient. Let's call it what that is. A lot of them leaders over there don't like Traore at all. Why? Because he want to be self-sufficient and live off of the resources in Burkina Faso. And he don't want France in there. A lot of them leaders over there don't like him. You would think like, man, I'm gonna support him. I'm with him. Nope. No, they're not. You can't say how I'm not going to talk about these issues, and this channel is called African Diaspora News Channel. I'm supposed to talk about those issues. A lot of times I back off and I let the African journalists talk about it, but I say, you know what? Some of these stories, I'm going to start bringing them back up. I say, because here's the deal. They may not say it the way I say it. And if I can stir up Africans enough to say, you know what? We need to start talking more. We need to do something about it. You African leaders that's watching that happen, shame on you. All y'all got militaries. Go do something about it. People shouldn't be fleeing their homeland because of refugees. They shouldn't be fleeing. There's 1 billion of y'all over there. You mean to tell me you can't go fighting in that? Come on now. It don't make sense. Yeah, Cynthia. So some of them leaders are jealous of Captain Traore. Yeah, they are. They don't like him because he told France, like, F y'all, get out of here. No, you're not getting my resources. You're not getting our gold. You're not getting our uranium, because uranium they need it for nuclear power. You're not getting that no more. You're not getting our copper. Get out of here. And then Captain Traore bought a lot of road paving machines from Ghana, so they can start paving the roads and doing all that. The man trying to do good in Burkina Faso. You would think, say, you know what? Let me get with that brother. Let me follow his. Now, the brother didn't think in Senegal trying to follow that model. And shout out to that young brother. You would think everybody want to follow that model. Say, okay, cool. We know that quote unquote democracy don't work. It don't work. That's a white man's system, democracy. Black folks don't work good on these democracies. I don't think they do. That's why you have leaders like Traore and the rest of them, because you notice democracy in Africa is always corrupt and messed up. How many years did black folks talk about kings and queens? Well, you know, a king or a queen don't listen to, it's not democracy. You know, God himself don't practice democracy. He has a theocracy. It's what he say goes, right? Just saying. If you look at China, President Xi, yeah, they got they party, but he run the show. Ain't nobody bucking against him. And you see how China is so much far advanced because nobody can buck against him and tell him hold up nothing he want to do. See, China never got to worry about their government shut down because President Xi ain't gonna shut that down. You can talk about Russia. Vladimir Putin not shutting down nothing. Nobody gonna shut him down unless he choose to do it. I'm just telling y'all this just what I see throughout the world. The white man brought his government to the African continent and left, whether it's the British or whatever, the Germans, whatever, they left their government there, and you wonder why their countries don't work right. Because it's not built on an African-based system. Yeah, Cynthia, that's what he said. Captain Traore said, get the hell on. We got it. And word on the, you know, I see videos coming out of Burkina Faso and the people love him. And the country's progressing. How could you be against that brother for progressing? And, you know, I heard some stories about he wanted to give citizenship, but then they changed it. Well, let me say this. I think he should be cautious with that. I'm saying it. He should be very cautious with just letting anybody in there, because some of these people coming from some of these countries, these diaspora countries, some of them are compromised. So you better be careful, because hey, you know, Denmark VC, how many times we were betrayed in our own homeland by Sambos? So you got to be careful with that. We still got Sambos now that's trying to betray us. So yeah, he better be careful with that. Thomas Sankara was his life was taken by a Sambo. You got to be careful. Yeah, they tried to take that man's life. I don't know how many times already. We talking about Traore. Yeah, he got to be careful. I'd be very careful who come in my country. Oh ho ho. Yeah, you got even the ones that so-called black. I watch them too. What you got going on? I'll be highly suspicious. Listen, I'm sorry. I'll be highly suspicious if anybody have any kind of, and I'm not saying nothing bad about our veterans, but anybody that has any kind of military background, I'll be suspicious of that. Because, like, I don't know, are you still attached to that? I don't know what you got going on. Because you got certain training or what you got going on. The folks, I wouldn't want them in there at all. At all. Not them. But anyway. Thank y'all for coming for the stream tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. It's very important. Make sure you download the African Diaspora News Channel app and the Google Play and the Apple App Store. Join us. We'll be having the week of Cyber Monday. We'll have a sale for the annual 50% off. Also, like I said, we're going through our working on 2.0 of the app. I really think y'all gonna like that and everything when it comes up here in a few months. It takes a few months to do it the right way. But thank y'all for listening, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.